So there is a proposal to amend the agenda of our continuous meeting in such a way that the point other motions will contain 4 subpoints: point 9.1 a budget, 9.2 affiliation fees, 9.3 new vote tool, 9.4 any other business, and after that we should close the general assembly meeting as the agenda will be exhausted. Does anyone oppose this amendment to the agenda? Doesn't seem so. So we amended the agenda and could move forward.
Technical point of order, Waito.
Yes.
I just started the recording of this meeting, both video and audio, a few minutes late, just so you know.
Okay, do we need to revisit anything for the recording? Or are the minutes sufficient?
I think the minutes are sufficient. Also, the audio goes straight out to Pirates on Air, and that is also being recorded, so we're safe.
Okay, thank you. So the amended agenda was accepted, and now we can move to the point 9.1, which is a budget of 2019.
Hold on 1 second. Let me finish with Discourse so that I can share that, and then everyone can see in Discourse the budgets.
Okay, how much time do you need?
5 seconds. Time to upload the.
Okay, a minute recess, everyone.
Okay. So it's now on the SharePoint. Not SharePoint, the Discourse, sorry.
Okay.
Feel free to share the URL.
Pasting it right now in the chat box. There we go.
I don't have the link, and can anyone paste it into the minutes?
Arriving also in the minutes. Where are the minutes now? It's here.
We are on line 100 in the minutes.
I need the other URL for that. Yeah. And I shared it to everyone. Here the link has been resent.
Thank you. Now please present.
Ray, can you share the 3 areas of budget.
So that is the best I can do. I will try to scroll as you speak.
Yep. Okay, that's fine. So we will not talk about the collection and the income first. We'll talk about the expenses and the disbursement. So I'll look at the debt later. That's if I can. Okay, good. Why there are 3 out of 3? Okay, fine. So our operational costs are at the bottom, which are, and here we are not talking about the full. Swiss. We are talking a budget with the full registration of PPI in Switzerland and the associated costs, which are 1,000 euros for the registration. That's the process. That's a one-time expenditure. And the financial auditing, which we budget at 500 euros per year. That's because we need to have that as a consequence of our official registration. The second point, if you could avoid to open the files, it would be cool, because I'm seeing the files at the same time because you're sharing your screen, Ray, and not just the application. And you might want to close also Wire, Ray. Thank you. So basically, those are our operation costs. We have some carryover costs, which are the debts to Norway. We have the operation costs for 2018, which have not yet been paid, which are representing 1,824 euros. And for 2019, we have the same operation cost, a bit even less, 100 euros less, I believe. Plus the one-time shot of the registration fee, plus the auditing. And then we have 2 funding of 2 conferences. One is the next Think Twice conference, and the next one is the Paris Security Conference. Now, why is there 3 variation of budget? Because there are 3 ways of budgeting things, or talking about the dues. The current due structure, so that's the first version. Please don't move. Stay at the top, please, Ray. Stop. Perfect. Okay. So as you see, there is a carryover of 1,000 euros. That's what we currently have in bank. The affiliation fees that we budget for next year, and the individual membership fees. That's the income that we are projecting also for next year. It is to be noted that we have not received most of the membership fees and dues for 2018, meaning that we are at the bare minimum with what we have currently in the bank account. And you can find the details of that in the post that Keys did on the membership fees collection. Now, the problem is, as you might see, we have an income of 2,850 euros for an expense of 6,475 euros with two exceptional costs, which are the carryover of 2018 and the registration fee. Now, there is a first motion that is asking for a change in the way that dues are calculated based on the current model, which asks to remove the 20% cap. So if you can scroll down to the next version, please, Ray. Version 2. You will see that here, now that the cap is gone, the affiliation fee is at 5,000 euros, and the membership fee doesn't change. And you will see that we still post a small loss of 324 euros, 325 euros for the year. The problem here is that basically the brunt of the income comes from a single source, which is the Czech party. And I don't believe that this is the way that we need to go forth. Let's go further down. Okay, now we have proposed a somewhat different way of calculating the dues, and we will come back to that. But basically, that would put us in the black numbers and not the red numbers. And afterwards, we can look at how we can modulate those dues in terms of yearly figures. However, there will be some points there that we will need to handle also in regards to things that we're not covering currently, which are travel expenditures for people going in situ to the UN to do to represent PPI and other items of that sort. So we'll need to figure that out at a later point in time. Now, that said, this is the budget as it is. Is there any questions about the budget?
If I may, I'd like to ask why are our expenditures so high regards the server costs? Because this is the highest point there. Can we do something about it?
We have looked into several options, and we have come to that position in regards to a very annoying problem, which is the maintenance of the infrastructure. Okay, 600 euros for a bunch of VMs that are collocated is not something that is extraordinary in terms of cost. We have been migrating from a very old infrastructure. When I say very old, it hadn't been maintained for 4 years, and it took us 1.5 years to migrate. Okay, we had, and when I'm saying antique, it's really very old and secure versions of all the application that we've been running, and we were not in a position to migrate anything. So we made an agreement in regards to service with the IT of I always forget. It's basically the team that Bastian is running to cover almost 24/7, 365, the service and support of our platforms, and also the support of the life cycle, so that we have dedicated resources that can handle the work and not depending on volunteers that are handling the platform, and then all of a sudden disappear because they have other duties, and they don't have time anymore to operate that. And because the platform is the critical element that enables us to work, the investment was decided.
Okay, thanks. At this moment, I don't think we can, or the budget as it is proposed is very much dependent on the income side, which will be decided later. So
Yes.
I'm not sure if we can accept it as a whole. I'm not opposing it, but I'm just posing the question if anyone feels that we can't accept the budget because it's highly dependent on what we will discuss afterwards.
We can also postpone the vote on the budget until we have discussed the dues collection and dues collection model, if you agree with that.
Does anyone oppose this proposal? Okay, it seems. Does anyone have anything else to discussion on the budget? Doesn't seem so. So we end the discussion on the budget. We postpone the vote on the budget. So now we move forward to the point of affirmation fees. Give me a minute to update the minutes.
I promise I'm not going to do a speech that will be as long as the cigar lasts.
So we can now move to the proposals on the affiliation fees. As I understand, there are two proposals. The first one was to get rid of the 20% rule, which is linked on the line 115. Whoever this proposal is, please represent it.
Well, that's a proposal from Power Party of Germany. I hereby withdraw or retreat the proposal in favor of the counter proposal given by the board, and I support the board's proposal from PPI-GA.
Okay, so this proposal is withdrawn, if I understand.
Yes.
Thank you. Now for the second proposal regarding affiliation fees, whomever it is, please link and then represent.
Theo, are you the spokesperson for the affiliation fees?
I will do that, but I was expecting to be able to light my cigar while someone was presenting the original motion. But then again, I'll do it anyways. Can you share the proposal, please? The counter motion.
Yes, if you tell me where it is, where do I find that?
Discourse.
And it's called
tiered. Or is it? Is it in proposals or in? I think it's in debates. It's in debate, actually. There
I
we go.
just got the link, so wait the seconds it takes for me to set up the screen share and we'll be fine.
Okay.
We're letting people in. Michael Gill has arrived. Wait up. Is the text in a proper size?
Okay, I can read it. I hope everyone else can. Whose proposal it is, please represent. I will try to put the proposal in the minutes then.
It is the proposal of the board. It addresses several problems. Okay. We have been trying to raise dues since 2015 based on a very complex calculation system where the number of elected representatives were defined and several other elements. In order to reflect rather the evolution and the level of maturity of the different members of the party, we propose to have a 4-tier membership fee system, which goes from mature all the way to nascent. And I'm not going to use the word all the way down for a purpose, because everyone has his own merit, everyone has his own challenges, and it's not because you are mature from a we'll say political representation standpoint that you have more merits overall than the nascent ones, because you have different challenges. And basically, we said in the first round to have for each of those tiers a different fee, which the original was for the mature one to have 1,000 Swiss francs all the way down to 0 for the nascent. And then to basically look at several elements to define who's mature, who's emerging, established, who's emerging, and who's nascent. And basically have several elements out of these that are key criteria to be selected to define the level of membership. So mature members are those that receive regular state funding, collect member dues, have elected officials at state or regional level, and or have elected at local level who receive compensation, meaning that at the local level you have still an income for elected officials. Then established members are those that have paying members, run for elections on a regular basis, have regular statutory activities such as general assemblies, conferences, and such. They might have also local elected officials. And emerging members would be collecting donations, run statutory activities such as general assembly, run activism projects. And then nascent have statutory activities and run activism projects, but still don't collect any monies. That is the idea, is that basically based on those 4 categories of parties, each would have to pay a specific member dues. Now, just to do a modification in regards to the dues, because we calculated the budget and we set ourselves only a 10% reserve for anything in particular. Mature would be 725 euros. Established would be 185. and emerging would only be 50. And that should be covering all expenditures for at least 2019.
Okay, we will have to discuss several things on this. First of all, the proposal says presumably euros. Are euros meant? Because I've seen this proposal with Swiss francs. So which currency we will be using?
We can use either of the two, euros or for the ease of discussion, we'll put euros. It doesn't matter to us. I mean, in the end, it comes into Swiss francs, and we have to bear the cost of operation there. That's all.
Okay, so euros. Second, does anyone have anything to comment about the general nature of this proposal as the 4 categories and what points does the ordinary member of such category need to have to be in that category?
There is a motion that Keith is proposing, but only in the chat, which is that in regards to the fees model, the 20% cap should also be removed. And actually, it is effectively the proposal doesn't take into account a 20% cap because the number of parties that would be subjected to each categories prevent that kind of mechanism, and especially since we're not calculating on the numbers of elected officials anymore, there is no risk of having one party that contributes more heavily than others from the due collection. It doesn't prevent any party to do donations that are specific in nature for given projects.
Okay.
We can
I
amend the
have a
text by adding
if the major parties need to fulfill all those criterions, or how do we distinguish if the party is established or major?
It needs to fulfill at least 2 of the for mature, it would be at least 2. For established, it would be all 3. For emerging, it would be all 3, and for nascent, it would be also all 3.
Okay. I suppose it means that if party doesn't fulfill even the nascent criterions, we shouldn't consider them ordinary member then.
That would be the case because they would not be fulfilling their fiduciary duties as an entity having internal democracy running. So they can't be established. They could be observer, but they could not be joining as a full member party. Those are implicit to the operation of a member.
Well, can I have can I put a question?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I have read the invoice for our party, and I have read there that besides of the restriction of 20% for one single party, there is a restriction of 1% of the annual income of the party. Is it so?
Yes, that also used to be a criterion.
For us, this criterion is very important. I think we don't need to pay more for somebody to fly to New York or somebody somewhere else, because if we pay one person, it is not much. If we pay several persons, it feels itself on the party's budget.
Yeah, but wait, we're talking about a subsidies of 50 euros for a small party, of 175 for a just let me go back to here. It's 50 euros for a merging party, 185 for an established party, and 725 for a mature party.
Yes, I understand.
If you're a nascent party, then if you have no monies, then you don't pay.
Maybe,
but if you're collecting money, if you're doing that, then yes, but you have also services that you can access. I mean, the mailing list that we operate on the behalf of everyone that is that is available, the Mumble platform that is also operated on the behalf of everyone, is available. The Redmine that you can use. All these elements are part of the service that we provide to all. It's not restricted to the use of PPI for the board. It's available for everyone else. So in that respect, we do incur costs for everyone, not just for us. The pads is the same thing. You want to use the Etherpad of PPI for your operations, you can leverage them. Those are elements that we provide to you, and that costs us.
I have doubts that we are a nascent party. Maybe we are emerging. We cannot be established before our regime is the same. Of course, we cannot count on the state subsidies and so on. We even cannot
we're not asking you to be a mature party and paying things if you don't have state subsidies. Then you are either established or you're emerging in those respect. It's not to be mishandled. The access to service is not related to your status as member. It's actually we are enabling everyone to have those services. We are also enabling you to have a voice that carries further. I mean, in New York, people that are presenting, or in Geneva, or in Vienna, those are people that are coming. They're not the ones that we, the board, decide that what they have to say. They bring their own material to the floor. They contact people within those areas, meaning that it's also to leverage the network that we are incurring costs. It's not just to make it nice for PPI. It's also for people that are available, that wants to make themselves available, to be able to go and carry their voices there. I mean, if you tell me tomorrow I have a conference organized within the UN that I would like to attend, no problem. We'll be able to do that. But let's go back. Let's go back to the point. Is we have a qualification grid, which is fairly basic, no complicated calculation as to do you have any large number of people, if you have people at state level, at the regional level, at local level, and then putting monies around it, but rather say, okay, you have these elements that happen, then you receive, you can afford that kind of funding for the operation of PPI. You have at this level, then we believe that this kind of budget cost is acceptable and it can be incurred. And if you are at this level, then we're not going to be asking you to contribute, because basically if you're not, if you can't collect monies, then we don't expecting you to give out monies that you don't have. The same thing if you're living on a very informal collection network of dues and donations. We're not going to be asking you for a huge amount of money, but I mean, the cost of things are the cost of things. I cannot make them disappear. Unless someone tells me tomorrow morning, we'll offer you 24/7 support on a continuous basis. Your servers are going to be hosted for free. And then, yes, we're going to be able to drive down the costs. But as nobody is footing such an offer, then we can't make it anyhow different.
I have a question. The only difference between nascent and emerging member is that they collect donations, right?
They collect donations. Yeah, I should have put that they collect donations. I didn't want to put membership there. Yes, but they actively seek to get money. On the other, in the nascent one, they don't actively seek to get money. They might get donations, and that's good for them.
Now, if you're a nascent member and start to collect donations, do you immediately become an emerging member?
Yes. We can put a grace period, but in essence, if you're collecting money and you're making the going toward financials, then yes.
Because like you can collect some money, and 50 euros can be still a lot for you for that year. Like, I can imagine such a case.
I think the difference there is between actively seeking and not, and that's in the text.
Yeah, that's the main difference. Is there is the active seeking or that you receive money because some people are interested in it. If there is an active way of doing collecting donations and running crowdfunding and that kind of things, then they have the means to acquire financing and funding. And basically, most of their infrastructures can be hosted by PPI. The only thing that we don't do yet is web hosting, which is something that we want to do in the future.
Exactly what I have tried to say is that the cap of 1% of annual budget solves this problem. How much do you collect? How much do you try? The cap of 1% of annual budget, I think, is well.
Basically, there's a proposal to put in there that no member should pay more than 1% of its annual budget or annual income. I would say annual income in the fees.
Yeah, but no third party has shared with us their books up until now. We have no centralized way of figuring out what the reality of that 1% is in that respect. And honestly, if that would be the case, then we can stop right here and right now. PPI is not going to be able to support itself. It's as simple as that.
Maybe it will be able to support itself in a more economical way.
Excuse me, but how do I run servers? You tell me. If you have a recipe to host servers that are secure, that are available 24/7, that we can depend on, and that can share actions for 2.5 million people, that can support all the activities of people that are going underground, No problem. Tell me where do I find the economical solution? Tell me how I can pay 275 euros just to maintain the existence of the ISBL that is related to ECOSOC. How can I pay 1,000 euros for doing the registration in Switzerland without having any economical way? You tell me. I'm sorry, but saying economies, the realities of cost are the realities of cost. I cannot do that by simply imagining things. These are costs that administration put on us. They are not the ones that we choose to have. There are laws that we have to abide by. Operating a bank account costs us 120 Swiss francs because we have a rule of transparency where nobody can pick out money out of it.
Ray has risen a hand. I think he wants to speak.
Yes, I think we skipped a part in the beginning here, where we mentioned why we are doing this. Over years, we have been adding rules to the way of calculating what each should pay year by year by year until it looks like somebody only with a PhD can understand. It has resulted in PPI being colossally underfunded. We are supposed to do something where we have a function in the world, and that is described in such a way that it basically says change the world. If we are to fulfill our obligations, we need financing, and the rules that exist now, among them this 1% rule, makes us so underfunded we cannot even give or share basic services. So this board sat down and discussed how we can make it, number one, simpler, number two, so that we have enough money to get through 2019 without going bankrupt. That's the reason why we're doing this.
Last but not least, there is one important point. You know that to calculate the dues, there is one person that spends 2.5 months collecting data from all our members when we can, goes into analyzing those, prepares the statement for each individual member, and then has to distribute that, get your validation, each of you members, so that then you can pay, if you pay. Because right now, you're telling me, well, yeah, but there's this 1% rule. Guess what? Out of all of you that are present today, how many did pay their dues for 2018? Raise your hand if you have, okay. So coming and telling me, no, this is complicated. Please pay your dues before you're telling us that it's complicated and it's this and that and the other thing, because it's quite disconcerting when people are telling us we shall not exceed 1%, we shall not exceed this, that, and the other thing. Well, sorry, but this is not acceptable because we are the ones running dry.
If I may finish, Guillaume.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Now, I have personally spent somewhere in the area of 6,500 euros over 2 years to sponsor the activities of PPI from my own pocketbook, actually incurring a little debt. Pirate Party of Norway has paid approximately 1,150 euros for plane tickets on top of that. And if my time is worth nothing, as if you read the budget as it is now, it says that my time is worth nothing. Because in periods I've spent 10 to 20 hours per day working for PPI, collecting no money back, but it's still an investment. People's work is also an investment. So the math is a little bit different. The thing is, we need money for the activity level plant. We need even more money than this proposal if we are going to even start honoring the obligations set forth by the founding members or the founding people. So I highly advise that we agree on a budget today that does not make us incur debt. Any other thing, like adding more rules, adding back rules to this proposal, it would be very wrong. We had a too complicated system, and bringing some of those rules back into this will be a mistake of colossal proportions. That's what I had to say.
Okay, Keith writes that the motion needs to clarify that this would negate the 1% rule of 2015 decision.
That would remove the whole use calculation, including the 1% rule.
No, it can't remove, Keith, it can't remove the statute 14 that enables remission or postponement. It's in the statutes, it can't be done.
It's a counter motion to a statute's modification. So yes, it can be done.
Wait, if we have something in the statutes.
It's in the rule of General Assembly that you can put a counter motion to any statute's modification at any time. It's point 4 and 5 of the rules of procedure for a General Assembly.
Yes, but we are not doing a statutes modification now.
Yes, we are. The dues are a statutes modification.
No, it's internal rule. We are not changing the statutes as they are. Affiliation fees are internal rule, not a part of statutes. Because that would change the number of votes you are required to do that. Yes, part of statutes 16 says the affiliation fees and contributions shall be fixed in relation to the finances and membership of the parties. So there's that.
Yes, so we can amend the whole rules regarding the simply the rules of the party, which is that, and I'm just trying to find it. Can you please, Keith, put the link in the in both the pad and the chat?
While you're doing this, may I have
the one to the membership fees?
Wait up, may I speak?
Yes, please do.
Okay, so just to be clear, I see a couple of places that people are in favor of adding this 1% rule. The proposal as it is now, I will have to ask my country, part of Norway, to pay 725 euros. We put the 1% rule in, it will be half of that. I don't know how this affects the other countries, but I know for a fact that it will change the math considerably in a worse way, and we will not be able to cover our costs. So the only way to invoke the put in the 1% rule, it would be same as saying you are supposed to run at a deficit. That's the GA telling PPI to run on a deficit.
Okay, there are at this moment several things in the statutes that are affecting the amount of affiliation fees. It's 0.65 of the statutes that talks about remission or postponement of dues. And there is also the article 16.2 that states that affiliation fees shall be fixed in relation to the finances of membership and the membership of parties. So the proposed rules for affiliation fees cannot ignore that unless we do also some change within it, but I would oppose doing changes of statutes at this moment as we discussed statute amendments already on this assembly. Like we still can, but
I'd like to point out that the text talks about different amounts than what I'm hearing in this meeting. Unless I'm understanding it wrong, the text says 1,000, 250, and then 100.
Those were the originally 14 dues, and we did a recalculation in regards to the budget, and we drove them down to the following. And I'll put them in this course so that they can be clearly where's that? There you go. You have it now on wire.
Okay, so we need to move forward in some way. First of all, I think we should address whether or not this proposal is trying to remove the ability of board to remission or postpone dues of any member.
No, it is not.
Thank you. Second, we need to discuss that the statutes say that affiliation fees shall be fixed in relation to the finances of parties. I'm not sure if this does, so I don't know. We should either say that it does if nobody opposes, or we should put some additional rule in there, like that the fees should not be more than the annual income of the party or something like that. That would be sufficient.
May I?
Yes. Right.
Yes, you lost me. So in theory, 30% of the people of the world are as stupid as me. So maybe you lost 30% of the people here. I'm not really sure what we're discussing. Are we having a statute problem or something?
We have a problem that the statutes provide some basics for the affiliation fee rule, and we need that the new rule fulfills these basics in the statutes, or we need to remove these basics in the statutes. So we are now clearing this up, and after that we will move towards some counter proposals, whether or not anyone wants to change some number or add some more requirements for different categories and such. I'm seeing such proposals here in the chat. But first, I think we should discuss if this proposal as it stands fulfills the criterion that the affiliation fees shall be fixed in regard to finances of the parties as it is set in the statutes. Yes?
Okay. Okay, so follow. So would this proposal not be acceptable by the statutes if we simply added that the fees cannot be larger than the annual income of any member?
Yes, that would be completely enough.
Okay, so let me be clear. I formally suggest, PPNO formally suggest that we add such a statement so that we can avoid getting stuck on a statute and move on to massaging the proposals until it can be voted on. Can I have a second, please?
I second that.
Thank you. I will.
Czech party is also seconding it.
Mikula Peshka wants to have a comment.
I would like to second that motion. I think this is fine implementation of the sentence which is in the statutes, which is acceptable, and we should move forward because we definitely want to be constructive and do not try to solve this problem by bankrupting of PPI.
Okay, I need to defend myself.
May I have a question on the board?
Please proceed.
I would like to know how many member parties do we expect in the categories we have discussed previously, like how many of them are emerging and so on.
Guillaume, do you want to answer that, or did you hear the question from Miklos? You're muted.
I heard the question. Okay.
Sorry, I had to withdraw for a moment because somebody came.
I suggest a break. Does
I just
everyone
have to make the counts. There are probably a half a dozen to a dozen emerging, and there is about 10 that are nascent, and then we have about 6 that are mature, and in established we have about 8. No, the thing is, wait, because I didn't do the whole development yet of that, but there might be only, wait.
Okay, on the line 156, there is the new the proposal as follows. Affiliation fees are made of a 4-tier membership fee system. The 4 tiers are as follows: major, established, emerging, nascent. Each member would have distinct affiliation fee payment. No member shall pay more than 100% of their previous annual income. We don't. Yes, it will, but please don't. Members are those that major members are those that receive regular state funding, collect member dues, have elected officials at state or regional level, and or have elected officials at local level who receive compensation.
Just one question. Line 102, there is a line that says we have not received most of the membership fees for 2017. Yeah, no, sorry, nothing. It's good. Sorry.
Okay, back again. So, So now, has anyone any proposals for?
Who said that nascent parties would not be considered as ordinary member?
No, not nascent parties.
Nascent parties are considered to be regular members, ordinary members. If they're not fulfilling that, then they are not members, because they're not fulfilling their statutory obligations. That is the point, is that as soon as you don't have the 2 basic elements, then you are considered, and you are active, then you have your membership. If you're inactive and not fulfilling those, then you lose your membership. because of the fact that we are required to run internal democracy as ECOSOC member, and that implies that our members have a running internal democracy as well that is running.
Well, actually, that's a requirement in our statutes for ordinary members and observer members that they have internal democratic structure.
Yes, but observer member can be someone that is still dormant because he's not taking part of decisions, and therefore you're becoming an observer member. But that is another discussion that we need to have further down the line, is who qualifies for ordinary member or observer member in the lights of who is active and inactive, and what we do with inactive parties.
Please, does everyone understand the basic construction of this proposal and the basic ideas behind the categories of members, ordinary members, that is? Okay, now I need to collect proposals that want to change the rules for the categories of members. So if you want to add or remove any requirement for some category, please say it now.
I'm asking the established tier to be adjusted to elected members, at least 1 or 2 elected members, because running for election actually costs money, doesn't add to anything. Only if you win elections you make money. So I think this needs to be in there.
So there's a proposal to add into the established category that not only they run for elections, but they also have elected officials.
May I?
I need someone to write those proposals down because I can't chair and write them at the same moment. So please, in the lines 170, 67 and below, add those proposals. Okay, I will hear second proposal now.
Question, Wojta.
Yes.
I have a comment to the proposal. Should I wait until you say that we can now discuss a specific proposal before I say anything?
Yes, I would like first to collect all the proposals and after that discuss them and maybe collect more proposals. Eve writes that participated in national elections within the last 5 years but did not pass the threshold should be exempt. Which category does that regards? All? Because run 5 years ago is not running regularly for me. Okay, there are proposals to add the 1% rule. We will discuss that later after we finish the categories, please. There's a system in it.
Comment again. You would like us to put in the motions that we see here. There are people that
great. Thank you.
There are people that are proposing and they're doing it in the chat. I will try to pick 1 or 2 and put them in there, but the people that are behind it should check my writing or our writing.
Are there any other proposals to change the fee categories?
I have to ask Party of Israel whether the quotation marks of their statement means that it is a proposal about 5 national elections. Is it a proposal, or just informing us that they are writing it?
It is a proposal to shit.
So it is a proposal. And which category does it, should it play? Because if you ran 5 years ago and you are not running today, I don't consider you running for elections, actually. Well, not for the next 2 years. You know, we can fluctuate in the categories.
Let me just clarify, and it's, again, and this is from our members, that the proposal is that not within 5 years, but that parties who are running in elections but do not pass the threshold and do not get funding, that they be excluded as being considered established and be moved to emerged, or they be excluded from mature and moved to established.
Well, I'd like to tell you that there are several elections that you can run past the threshold and still not get any funding. So I'm not sure if this holds, but yes, I will accept it as a proposal.
I think what Wojta said was that there are different rules in different countries, and this rule will help some, not help others. So we have to be a little smart about proposing things that are very specific to our countries. And I would like to ask the delegate, the official delegate for Israel, to say that this is a proposal, not just copy paste in what a member happened to say. Have the delegate for Israel thought this through?
We have, and we wrote a proposal on line 174.
Okay, I will personally be happy if we do not make it more complicated. Back to a situation where we was before.
Major members are those who receive regular state funding. This is the only one category that talks about regular state funding. Running for elections does not mean that you get any state funding by itself. I'm not sure if we understand the categories. What do they mean? Like, if you don't receive state funding, you just can't be considered major. Or can you?
This is a proposal from an established member that deals with things that only pertains to nascent members. So again, has this proposal been thought through properly.
I actually have a proposal. Maybe the major members should fulfill at least 3 of those 4. Because I can imagine states where you collect member dues and have elected officials on a regional level, but don't receive funding. And I don't think that those should be considered major. Or I need a clarification. The major members at the end, or have elected officials at local level who receive compensation. Does the compensation regard to the elected officials or to the party?
To both, because basically, at least for us, for instance, we have to give back some of the compensation that we receive to the party.
Like, yes, because, well, we have elected officials at local level. I was elected and I was getting 500 crowns a month. And I would likely, that's not enough, like, you know, it's like 25 euros. That for me, personally, for my work at the local level, that doesn't seem to right.
But in the end, it's simple. If we don't want to pay monies, then we stop PPI.
No, I want to pay money, but I want to make the categories to make sense even in the edge cases. Can we, I have a proposal. We suppose that emerging members fulfill all the criteria of NASCEN members, right?
Yes.
And established members fulfill all the criteria of emerging members, right?
Yep.
And major members fulfill all the criteria of established members, right?
Yes.
So I would propose that we rephrase the categories in such a way so it will be easier to understand or read and follow.
We have a point of order with,
Yes.
from Francois in France. He proposes we vote on main proposal and see what happens, and then move on to the other proposals.
So we do the other proposals first, and after that, they've change the categories.
Please put me on any list you make when it comes to discussing proposals.
Okay, so do we want first to discuss all the proposals and then maybe vote on them, and after that, or do we want to discuss, because I've collected 4 proposals right now. Rephrasing the categories will be easier to follow. It can be done regardless. I think nobody opposes that.
It's already done.
Yes. Now there's the proposal with the 1% rule, adding the 1% rule back. I think it is critical and it has the most of the support. So is there any further difference between collecting member dues and having paying members? I'm asking the proposee.
No, you can put, it's the same thing, as was just worded differently. Collecting member dues or having paying members. Even though it would be on a more active, it was more denoting the fact that the collection of dues was done actively rather than just saying, please pay.
Well, please pay is collecting donations, or I don't understand.
Yeah, but not say, oh, by the way, we have a membership. If you want, you can pay it or not. And the other one, it's an active work of doing the membership collection, sending reminders, offering payment facilities, and so on and so forth. In that sense, having paying members is like, okay, you can pay your fee or not. You're still a member, but if you pay, cool. That's it. Because some people do that, and then yeah, they have a very short budget in the end because half or 2/3 of their membership don't pay their dues.
Okay, I understand, but those then shouldn't be members, right?
Some people do run it like that. That's why I was putting it in this way when I drafted it.
Okay.
That was the difference between an established one, where there was still
well, established, I think, should be collecting the dues on a regular basis.
Yeah, okay.
Or maybe not. I just. Okay. Let me think it through. How do we will continue now? So, will there be any other proposals, or should we discuss now the proposals?
Just feedback from the chat. There's a little bit of negotiation going on when they realize that 1% would not give us enough income. So they're saying 2%, 2% is okay, 5% is okay, as long as there is a reasonable cap. So the proposal by the Internet Party New Zealand can be changed to X.
Okay, I think we will collect all the proposals on different number. Then we will vote on them, and after that, if one is winning, we will decide that against the original proposal. So please screen the numbers as your proposals, and please collect the numbers.
Can somebody add 2% and 5% there then? Thank you.
Okay, I have feeling that the being established member and having one official elected at local level who will receive himself some sort of compensation does not make me a major party.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so, but it does now, doesn't it? Or do I need to fulfill all now that we remove the collect members' dues in the major parties? Do I need to receive state funding and also have some elected officials?
No, that's both are and the thing is, for mature member, there are different ones. I mean, in Switzerland, we're not receiving state funding for political activities. We still are what we can call a mature member if you look at the number of activities, the budgets we have, and so on and so forth.
Okay, and how does what's the difference between being established and mature in Switzerland then?
A mature, well, if we were to consider the legal definition of mature, it would be that we have regional officials in at least 3 states, and then we would be considered as mature. We're not at that stage from a legal standpoint. However, there are several definitions of what is a political party. That's something different. But from an influential standpoint, we have been running referendums, we have been running initiatives, and we even won against Microsoft in different cases. And we work, we have access to the National Assembly. We have permanent representatives there, not as elected, but as lobbyists. So yeah, we are fairly mature, but still, if some people would want to reduce it to established, that's a bit of a.
No, I don't want it reduced, but I want, like, we are mature, our party. Well, yes, since 2000.
Is there a way to work out the details of this motion later, but still vote on it now, so we can continue with the assembly itself and finish it?
I think we can't not vote on unfinished motion. We can vote on some of the proposals and then say, okay, it will be polished and sent out for some vote. But I can't allow some voting on unfinished proposal. That would be.
But we can still vote on the core of the proposal.
Yes.
Then look at the amendments that are proposed, and then
we can. So the order I would support is taking the proposals as they are here. So first for the categories, adding 2 elected members, then about the percent rule, and after that about the exemption for those who do not receive funding.
I would like to split the vote then for the if possible, for the principal, so the 4 tiers, and then a vote for the dues itself as a second vote.
So for the principal and then for the
dues themselves.
Well, that was something I would actually get to. Does anyone have any proposals regarding the numbers in the payments, like raising, lowering some category or something like that?
There has been no comments about the actual euro numbers anywhere.
Okay. Okay, for me, I don't consider the categories as written down to be quite great, but we can move on. So, does the proposee accept to add at least 2 elected members to established category?
There we
You were breaking up. Can you repeat the whole statement you just made?
I'm asking the proposee if he would add the proposal 168 without voting. If you don't, we will continue to vote
no problem,
on it.
we can do that. No problem.
We can? Established. Okay.
What just happened, Guillaume? Did you just allow a shaving off of 1,080 euros from our budget?
No. It's 2 elected members at the local.
Any level.
No, at a local level, not at any level.
Doesn't this mean that 6 of the 8 national parties that now are considered established goes from paying 185 euros to 50 euros?
No.
Okay, then I'll shut up.
To my calculation, it doesn't.
So other proposal, now there are several proposals to add back the rule that somebody should not pay more than some percent of their previous budget.
Because 2 elected officials at the parliament level or at the state level or regional level does mean that the party is receiving income anyways.
Doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Then 2 elected, yeah, but at a local level, not a national or regional level.
No, there's 2 elected now, but Swissos writes that it should be local level.
Yeah.
But I don't consider that valid, because if you would have 2 elected officials at the national level and not local level, then you wouldn't be considered established, and that would be stupid. So I think there should be only elected members. So does anyone oppose adding the two elected members to the established category? Because there is some discussion about it.
I would oppose it because basically, if you have national coverage and you have people elected at national level, then you're a mature party.
So we oppose adding the two elected members to the established category. Okay, then we will have vote on it.
For me, if there are two local level elected people, I'm fine. If it's more, then if it's at higher levels, no.
So the proposal from Austria is two elected members, and from Switzerland is two elected members from local level. Do I understand it?
Yep.
Okay, those are, well, we will first okay. Now we will need to run a straw poll.
Guillaume, please read comment from our Keith.
No, I'm not stating the mature category, Keith. I'm stating that basically in the established category, you cannot put two elected people without stating at which level. If it's at local level, it's fine. If it's at national level, no.
So everyone, on the lines 172 to 174, there will be a vote held. Between those two options, you can vote for any number of those options or none of them. Prepare. Is everyone clear on what we are voting?
Not yet. Just give me a second, please.
It's on lines 172 to 174 is the question. After that is the vote ballot. You can support both, either or neither of those options. Please state option 1, option 2, or 1, 2, or anything like that. Is everyone clear? Fine. So now there's no third option. Why are you making things complicated? There's only two options. So, Austria, which of those options do you support?
We support only option 1.
Brazil. Brazil.
Abstain.
Catalonia.
Abstains.
Czech Republic.
Um, sorry, I don't know if I should vote against both or abstain. Like, is there a difference?
Abstain, both of them.
Okay.
If you abstain, your vote is not counted. If you vote against, the vote is against. So the options, we are finding out now which one is more supported. So it doesn't matter actually. France.
We go against the 2.
What? Couldn't hear you.
Against the 2 of them.
Against.
None.
Both. Germany.
Neither.
Israel.
Israel votes for both options.
Luxembourg.
Abstain.
Netherlands.
Abstain.
Thank you. Internet Party New Zealand.
Option 2.
What?
Option 2.
Yes, true. Thank you. No, New Zealand too. Can somebody write down the Netherlands or?
Can somebody do what?
It's there. Thank you. Norway.
Neither.
Poland. Nothing from Poland. Portuguese. They are not present. Why are they in the list?
Delete.
Russia.
Russia abstains.
Switzerland.
Option 2.
Tunisia.
Abstain.
Slovakia.
Abstain.
Let's see, free notes. So the option 2 won, but as I see it, it doesn't have the support to pass. Should we put it? Should we put the option 2 through vote, or is anyone opposing my judgment that it will not pass? Option 1.
The tally is incorrect. As reported in minutes, it's 2.5 yes for 2.
One.
Israel voted 1. Switzerland
Yes, that's
voted
2.
1. IPNZ voted 2, and that's half a voice. And only
But that's
2
option
yes.
2.
Yeah, but the tally was not properly written in
Okay.
in the minutes.
So the option 2 is winning with a half a vote, right?
Yep.
It has 3 no votes. Should we put it through a vote, or do we accept that it won't pass?
In my opinion, we can leave it like that. I mean, removing it.
What?
It doesn't need to be present in the motion, but it's up to you if you want to run it in a second round or not.
Does anyone want to run the second round? It won't be put there. By my judgment, as a chair, it doesn't have the support. It would be unnecessary vote. But
I second that.
Does anyone require a vote?
You skip it.
Skip it. Okay. Now let's move to other proposals. There are 3 proposals regarding the rule of how much of its previous year annual income should a member pay maximally. So we will vote on those 3 options, or do we want to have a discussion before?
I would like to put myself on the speakers list.
Yes.
Should I just go ahead?
Yes.
If you vote for 1% in this proposal, we will lose a number of euros, making us end up in red. And this is a quick calculation, a perfect calculation is possible to do. But if you vote for 2%, we will end up approximately as the budget proposal says, and be in black. If you vote for 5%, that will be a little too much for several of the countries. So I would like people to vote for 2% if they vote for this proposal at all. Thank you.
Does anyone else want to comment on this before we take the vote? Doesn't seem so. So once again, you have 3 options. You can support all of them, 2 of them, neither of them. You can abstain. We are now finding the option who has the most support and can get about more than half of the support, probably. So is everyone prepared to vote and knows? Because if yes, and I think that everyone is informed what we will vote now, I will ask by party Astra which of these 3 options do they support.
Option 2, 2%, please.
Only. Pirate Party Brazil,
Abstains.
Catalonia,
Abstains.
Czech Republic,
Option 2, 2%.
Pirate Party France,
Option 3, 5%.
Pirate Party Germany,
Option 3.
Pirate Party Israel, all three. Pirate Party Luxembourg,
Option 2.
Option 2. Pirate Party Netherlands,
Netherlands abstains.
Netherlands abstains. Internet Party New Zealand,
Option 2.
Pirate Party Norway,
Option 2.
Pirate Party Russia,
Option 2.
Pirate Party Switzerland,
Option 3.
Pirate Party Tunisia, abstains. Pirate Party Slovakia,
Slovakia. 2.
Slovakia, 2. Okay, we will now tally the votes. So it seems that option 2 has the most support. So that's the option to put 2% there. We will now see if this carries into the proposal. So we will now vote on this. It's on line 229, and I will roll call you all again. So Pirate Party Austria, how do you feel about changing the number of percents to 2?
Yes, please.
Brazil,
Then maybe have your vote.
Catalonia,
Abstains.
Czech Republic,
Yes.
France,
We abstain.
Deutschland,
Abstains.
Israel. Yes. Luxembourg,
Yes.
Netherlands,
Abstains.
Internet Party New Zealand,
For the record first, Brazil abstains formally. Internet Party of New Zealand votes yes.
thank you for both. Norway,
Yes.
Russia,
Yes.
Switzerland,
Yes.
Tunisia, Tunisia abstains, and Slovakia.
Yes,
Yes.
Slovakia.
Uh, so we're gonna tally, and it seems that the motion has passed. So we update our proposal.
Ask.
You're in line 249, right?
We are on line 249. Yes, I'm putting amended proposal there so everyone can see where we are at. And now we have the proposal to provide exemption for members who do not receive funding, thereby allowing major members to be considered established. Well, that already applies, I think.
Point of order. Point of order.
Yes.
It seems that we missed that Mikuláš wanted to say something. Is it still relevant, Mikuláš?
Yes, I think so. I would like to ask especially Pirate Party of Germany, Pirate Party of Norway, and Pirate Party of Switzerland whether they consider to be reasonable to raise the fee for major members to 1,000 euros.
Germany wouldn't object.
Pirate Party of Norway has always felt that paying 50 euros membership fee is ridiculous. I'm not sure how they will feel being informed after making their budget for 2019 that it will be 725 euros. But that's the fight I will take on home court. And I will explain to them that to have a PPI, we need to have money.
Well,
As for
there's now
Switzerland,
the 2% rule in force, so I'm not sure if you've taken that into account.
and just one thing with the 2% rule, Switzerland cannot give 1,000 euros. Sorry, guys. You wanted to have 2% cap? I hadn't ever a problem with 1,000 euros. We have been giving a lot more than the dues to PPI by providing logistics and everything else. You want to enforce 2%? That's 400 euros as a cap for Switzerland.
So Switzerland would be not opposed to the 1,000 euros as it would.
The thing is that we will not be paying 1,000 euros. You're
Yes.
imposing a cap of 2%. Guys,
Yes.
you made a
Yes.
decision to limit the spending of the dues or limit the amount of dues. Now, Switzerland was ready to go at 1,000 euros earlier on. We are already funding Think Twice with more than what is in the budget of PPI. We're funding the security conference as well. And we're giving a lot more than the dues to PPI as well. So now you want to cap it? Live with it. The consequences of your decision is that basically Switzerland will only pay 400 euros, period.
Yes, and
I will now answer the question. I will now answer the question posed by the meeting chair to me. Yes, I have considered what it means with a 2% cap, and it's 660 euros instead of 725. And I voted for 2% instead of 5% after watching feedback from 3 countries taking that into account. Now, if we had wanted people to vote differently, the thunder speech from our esteemed chair should have happened before the vote instead of after the vote, and maybe we could have avoided what you see as an impact on PPI's economy. Just say.
I would like to propose a proposal in the name of Party of Czechia to raise the fee for major members before capping to 1,200.
Okay, that's a valid proposal. And now, before this discussion started, we were at a proposal by party to provide exceptions for the members who do not receive funding, thereby allowing major members to be considered established to be considered emerging to be considered nascent, and so on. It was crossed out. I suppose it was withdrawn, right?
Yes, Keith has written it into the chat.
Yeah,
okay,
but
thank you.
I don't understand that kind of requests from Party Israel saying that we should remove the dues. I mean, this is completely going against the budget. We showed you budget. We showed you what is the income, and you're asking to dismantle that by saying we should remove the highest incomes or the highest dues category. What is exactly the reasoning behind that? I would like to have an explanation.
If I can provide my explanation, and it's from our party, not necessarily for myself, is that if the party is running in elections and does not have funding, was the opposition. But again, our party does not withdraws the motion owing to the ability of us to use the 2% rule.
What is drilling in my house? Is it carrying over? Okay, if not, now we can move to the proposal by Czech pirates to increase the major to what? 1,000? 1,200?
1,000.
1,000.
Can I ask for a reasoning behind that? If the Czech Republic can pay 1,000 instead of 725, you're free to do so, of course. You could donate a little extra, but your proposal here would also then affect maybe Norway next round. So I'm not sure why you propose this.
Does anyone want to comment, or should I? I think it's much easier to persuade our party to pay membership fees than to do donations.
We would like to have some, let's say, legal base which would stabilize the PPI budget so that it works on mandatory spendings from the member parties rather than on some fluctuating donations. That's the point. We would like to have it automated.
Also, I would like to ask Norway if this increase affects you if the 2% rule is in force.
You're absolutely right. As the 2% rule is in effect, it will not affect us. I haven't calculated all the other countries yet, but I was fearing that it would affect more. But it's a brilliant, it's a brilliant comment, and I retract my need for more information. Thank you.
And I'll be asking the 2% rule to be waived for Switzerland.
I don't know how.
Basically, I'll be asking for a membership due of €1,000, and that's it.
Okay. Well, if your party won't provide what's your cap or won't inform that their previous income is limiting their pay, that you can do that, I think.
Then, yeah, I would like to have the freedom of going and not imposing a 2%, because if we want to decide to pay a due that is higher than the 2% cap, it's our right to do so.
Okay, can we get it somewhere so we would use different term from shall? No member shall pay more. Must? I don't know. I'm not an English guy. Maybe there is an option that if we change this rule slightly, that it would be an option and not a requirement.
We are determining adding the donations to the affiliation fee right now, so I don't see the point.
Okay.
Two different things. A donation is something from a legal standpoint. A dues is something else. From a fiscal standpoint, it is something different.
It very much is. Okay, I will now go forward with the Czech proposal to increase the affiliation fees for major members to €1,000. If anyone wants to propose any more changes to the wording, please do think about it during the vote. So, I think the proposal is quite understandable by itself. So we will move forward with the vote if nobody has any more questions about it. So on the line 270, there's a proposal from Czech Party to raise affiliation fees for major members to €1,000. Who is for it or against it? Pirate Party Austria.
Yes.
Yes. Pirate Party Brazil.
Abstain.
Please, someone write the votes down. Thank you. Pirate Party Catalonia.
Yes.
Thank you. Pirate Party Czech Republic.
Yes.
Pirate Party France.
Abstain.
Pirate Party Germany.
Yes.
Pirate Party Israel. Yes, I see. Luxembourg.
Yes.
Netherlands.
Abstain.
Internet Party New Zealand.
Abstain.
Norway.
Yes.
Russia.
Abstains.
Switzerland.
Yes.
Tunisia.
Abstain.
Abstains. Slovakia.
Yes.
Okay, as please tell it, but I can see that the vote decision carried, so the major was increased to €1,000. Any more proposals regarding this before we move forward to voting on it as a whole? Or does anyone want to postpone the vote before some time, some consideration of some, I don't know, polishing or something. Okay, doesn't seem so. There's some comment. Okay, there's a proposal for break after this vote. Noted. So the proposal, as it now reads, is on the lines 293. This is a proposal for member affiliation fees. It removes all previous affiliation fee rules. Affiliation are made for 5-tier membership fee system. The 4 tiers are as follows: 1 major, 2 established, 3 emerging, 4 nascent. Each member would have a distinct affiliation fee payment. There should be member category or something. No member shall pay more than 2% of their previous annual income. Major members are established members that also receive regular state funding, have elected officials at state or regional level, and or elected officials at local level who receive compensation. You should fulfill at least 2 of those. Established members are managing members that also have paying members and run for elections on a regular basis. You should fulfill all of those. Merging members are nascent members that also collect donations. You should fulfill all of those. Nascent members have regular statutory activities such as general assemblies and run activism projects. You should fulfill all of those. Major members would pay €1,000. Established members pay 185 euros. Emerging members would pay 50 euros. Nascent members would pay 0 euros. That's the proposal at the wall. Can we vote on it?
No, not yet. One thing needs to be clarified, as Bastian has mentioned, from which time frame onward would this motion carry? Would it start, starting with the budget for this year? Does it involve other things? Does it start from 2019 onward? I propose, as I've already had it in our motion, that it would work extant starting this year, from January onwards, so to say.
I understand that this, as the affiliation fees need to be established a year prior, this would establish affiliation fees for year 2019 and onwards.
Would be for the fees of 2019 based on 2018?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we have no retroactive powers here, so 2018 we can forget about, right? So it goes without saying it's from 2019. But if we need to, I'm sure the one who presented the motion can add the year 2019 somewhere in some sentence.
So clarified, we'll move on.
Is everything clear about this motion or no? No, this wouldn't apply to the 2018 affiliation fees that are due in 2019. This would apply to the 2019 affiliation fees, I think.
The question is, I think,
the question is 2019 fees that are based on the 2018 situation.
Yes, and are due before the 2020 General Assembly, right?
We've collected this year the 2017 fee.
It's always the dues are calculated post numerando, meaning that we use the situation of 2018 to calculate the dues of 2019.
Which are due before the General Assembly of
2019.
I'm not sure, but I'm inclined to believe you.
That's the current practice, and we are not changing that practice, meaning that what we do currently is the 2018 dues, the ones that you're paying this year, are based on the situation of 2017. The dues in 2019.
Yes, I agree on that. I'm not sure if they are due.
No, that's the proper the right wording there. This would apply to the affiliation fees of 2019, due in 2019, based on the 2018 situation. And you can put as a post-numerando system.
Yes, I don't remember which has failed to pay its annual affiliation fee up to the end, including the fiscal year preceding the General Assembly.
Yes.
See Statutes Article 9, Section 5.
Yep.
We are setting now the rules for fiscal year 2019, right?
Exactly.
And those dues for 2019 will be based on your situation in 2018.
Exactly.
And if you don't pay them up until 2020 General Assembly, you will forfeit your vote there, unless you ask for remission or postponement of a payment. I don't know, it doesn't happen many times usually, but
that's, I would say, a detail of incasso rather than the way that we set up those dues.
Okay, so we are all on the same page. Is everyone on the page with us? Then we can go forward with the vote.
Seconded.
Oh. Sorry. I would like just to point out before the voting that this vote needs to pass with 2/3 majority.
That means that abstentions are particularly unhelpful in this situation, or not?
Oh.
Yes, very unhelpful. Because they're counted in the 2/3.
That's difficult question because we have rules everywhere.
If it was a simple majority, it wouldn't carry a weight. If it's a 2/3 qualified majority, as it is the case now, it carries a weight.
The statute says that it needs 2/3 majority of the votes cast.
Yeah.
And I will look into the rules of procedure if they say anything else.
if I may, if you find that an abstention vote is not an actual vote, then it doesn't matter. Then you can abstain all the way to next Christmas, for all I care. But in this situation, we fear, at least until Vojta is done, that an abstention is a no.
It is possible. Rules of Procedure, General Assembly.
Look at Article 6, voting.
Yes.
Point 6.
No, it's not. To
Abstentions.
clarify,
Resolution shall be taken by a simple majority of the sum of the votes of ordinary members present or represented, even though a tie motion is defeated. But that's
in the case of a two-thirds majority, just to clarify, the two-thirds majority is based on the count of all votes, meaning that if there are abstentions, and let's say that you have less than two-thirds yes, or if you have let's say we have 20 votes.
Well, the question comes into if the abstention is vote cast or not.
Right, and look at 6.6, last sentence, abstentions are not taken into account.
Thank you, Bastian.
Thank you.
Where? Rules of Procedure. Voting, yes.
Yes, Chair. Article 6, voting in rules of procedure. Point 6, decision concerning the admission of new members, exclusion of members, determination of annual admission fee, and the amendment of statutes. Okay?
Yes. It's there. It's there. Abstentions don't affect anything. It can be passed one person if everybody else abstains. That's our current rules.
Okay.
Suggest we proceed.
And let's proceed.
Okay, thank you. Third party Austria.
Abstains.
Third party Brazil. Third party Catalonia.
Yes.
Czech Republic.
Yes.
France.
Yes.
Germany.
Yes.
Israel. Israel, yes. Luxembourg.
Yes.
Netherlands.
Abstain.
New Zealand.
Yes.
Norway.
Yes.
Russia.
Abstains.
Switzerland.
Yes.
Tunisia. Abstains. Slovakia.
Yes.
Brazil. Can we have a vote from Brazil?
Brazil has left the building.
Okay.
Okay. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 votes cast, and all are yes. So the motion carries. Thank you all. I would now propose 5-minute break to 15:15.
Seconded.
I'd like to point.
Yes.
I'd like to point out that we just agreed to a source of income after creating a budget. Let's make sure. I don't know it's special circumstances, but let's make sure the expenses match the income rather than the other way around.
Well, we actually postponed the decision on budget So we can vote it on, we should vote it on after the
Yeah, but still, it's still the same thing because we tailored the current source of income to the budget already. So yeah.
supposedly, I don't know.
And that's why we're presenting a budget from the past 3 years, is basically to have the matching between what are the dues and what are the expenditures.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to point out that I know there's special circumstances, but let's not make this the norm of creating a budget and then going after funding after.
That wouldn't actually. It's not the intent of going creating expenditures and then after the budget. We want to have budget earlier in the time and then the rest. Okay. Recess for 5 minutes.
Yes, Guillaume.
Yes.
Please take a call from Bailey and I.
Yeah.
Someone left a microphone open.
So it's 15:50.
Is there something you'd like to bring up in regards to the organizing of the meeting?
I don't think so. We should continue now.
We haven't discussed time yet, the total time of the meeting. So, and I see people are getting a little bit antsy when it comes to time.
Okay, I actually need to leave about, well, 17:30 latest.
Okay. So if
if the quorum drops, we are out of business. That's
yes.
the thing.
So let's try to get the things we need to vote on done rather quickly. And then any other business, people can just walk out because any other business is not to be voted on. Am I correct?
Basically, well, if we can continue, now we should return to the point 9.1, the budget.
Line 330?
Nope. Line 330, yes. Where we discussed the budget but didn't vote on it.
Yep.
So if nobody wants to discuss anything further, we can vote.
Yes.
Sorry, I just came back on what we are voting. Just line is okay.
We are on line 330. We are returning to the assembly, and we are, as was decided, now going to vote on the budget for 2019. There were 3 proposals. I don't know which one stands now, but they are, for me, they are basically the same. So, shall we just go with the vote, or will there be any proposals for the budget? Like, which one are we voting actually on? Because if I'm not mistaken, they had the same composition of expenditures, so there's no difference there.
Indeed.
So
you're correct.
Does anyone object voting on the budget now that we know the composition of expenditures and we will find out the composition of income during the year, actually, as it usually is?
Your started, yes.
Do we have any estimates on what's coming in next year?
If I may, meeting chair.
Yes.
We cannot possibly do any other operation than a guesstimate when it comes to the budget, because it depends on how much income they had in 2017 or 18, I'm not really sure. And we don't have those numbers because they're not reported. So we are relegated to guessing. And my guess is that what we have voted for with the 2% rule will reduce our income with a few percent. Norway from 725 to 660, for instance. So that's the thing I foresee or guess. I think we will be within the budget plus or minus 5 to 8%. That's all I can say. That it's not possible to count it anymore. That I do not feel we need to adjust the budget proposal. It can stand as it is.
And I second what Ray just said.
Yes, I was away for a moment. So did he propose to postpone the decision on the budget?
No, just to go as it is.
Okay. So then we will prepare vote on the budget now.
May I?
Yes.
I would like to table a supplementary motion. Basically, I would like to order the board to collect the statistic about the member parties, what are their income, membership base, and stuff like that. And I would like to kindly ask the members to provide the information to the board. It's independent of the budget, but I think this should be as a, let's say, supplementary motion because we need these calculations.
The board has received your request, and we will do our best. We have trouble getting people to answer what their email address is, so I don't know how well this will end, but we will certainly try again. We will.
I would rather have the motion the other way around, that the members do provide the information to the board rather than the board collects it.
I'm also fine with that.
Obligated to do that, because basically every time we chase that, and you can ask Keith or Thomas, which have done the exercise in the past 3 years, every time they spend 2 to 3 months trying to get that information. And if they're not coming with crowbars, guns pointed at the head of everyone, they're not obtaining the information. So therefore, I would say this is compulsory, and that every member should provide the information and disclose it.
And then I propose we move on with the vote before we lose 1 or 2 delegates and no longer can vote.
Exactly. So let's proceed.
Okay.
Okay. We will now vote on the budget and then polish the supplementary proposal, right?
Okay.
Hi, Mike.
Hello.
So online 337, we are voting on approval of the budget as proposed by the board. Does everyone understand the question? Thank you. So we will vote. Pirate Party Austria, do you approve the budget?
We abstain.
Pirate Party Brazil? Catalonia?
Yes.
Czech Republic?
Yes.
France?
Yes.
Thank you. Germany?
Yes.
Israel? Israel, yes. Luxembourg?
Yes.
Netherlands?
Abstain.
Internet Party New Zealand?
Yes.
Norway?
Yes.
Poland? Russia?
Abstains.
Switzerland?
Yes.
Tunisia?
Same.
Slovakia?
Yes. Sorry, I couldn't unmute.
Tunisia abstains, yes. So Brazil, do we have vote from Brazil? I don't think so. Do we have vote from Poland?
Nope.
No.
Hmm. So the budget is approved by simple majority. And I will remove Poland from my list. Okay, that was the budget. Now the supplementary proposal by party check. What do you word it now?
Yep.
Do you have it written?
Any member willing to apply a discount based on cap of 2% of annual income shall provide a correct and full information on its membership base, income, and elected representative to the board.
I would suggest you also add some term limit.
That's a good idea, definitely. Until the end of August of how to say it. Of the year, yeah. That's as we are doing budget for 2019, or as we are doing spendings for 2019, it should be until the August of 2019. Yes, it should work like that.
So I will read the proposal again. Any member willing to apply
for a 2% discount or for the two?
Apply, wishing to apply. That's not a discount. That's a limit.
Apply for the 2% limit. The percent cap. Yeah. Okay. And can we do that earlier, like let's say end of Q2, so June rather than August? Because in June, normally everyone has closed their fiscal year 2018 and have had the approval of their General Assembly on the figures that they have done and reported that.
I'm fine with that idea if no one opposes.
Yeah, we should have things closed by March, so June should be fine.
Yeah, but as for part of Germany, I can just announce that we will not and cannot ever fulfill this rule because we have to collect a lot of more things throughout the whole party for the annual report to German Parliament. And over the last years, that report was finished in December, after the closed fiscal year.
So you finish it December after the year.
So you finish in 2019 information about 2018. Are you?
Exactly. Final figures, because we have to. We have a lot of organization within the party, and it has all to be consolidated.
Yeah, you are a confederation, right?
Again,
You're not one party.
Are you going to apply the 2% limit on you? Like you can you can pay the full fee, like 1,000. I guess it's for you. if it's a problem for you to provide the statistics, which I'm surprised in Germany.
Well, we can add that the party can request a postponement from the board if under some circumstances, like it is with the actual fees for this requirement.
As another possibility, provisional figures might be given, but have to be instead to be corrected afterwards. That's a possibility too. And well, even if they come up with provisional numbers for each other party, I believe that would be the same. And well, I rather propose that they send in the provisional figures by June if they do not have the final numbers, and have to send in the final figures by the end of the year, so it can be corrected.
I'm fine with that idea. Like, if you could word it, I will second it.
So now, like this, any member wishing to apply a limit of 2% to the affiliation fees shall provide a correct and full information on its membership base, yes, income and electoral percentage to the board before the end of June of the fiscal year. Provisional figures may be provided and corrected figures provided at the end of a year. Okay. Can we vote on it?
Seconded.
So we can. Pirate Party Austria, do you vote yay or nay?
Yes.
Pirate Party Brazil? Pirate Party Catalonia?
Yes, sorry, I was muted.
Czech Republic?
Yes.
France?
Yes.
Germany?
Yes.
Israel? Israel abstains. Luxembourg?
Yes.
Netherlands?
Abstains.
Abstains. Independent Party New Zealand?
The answer is yes.
But Norway?
Yes.
Russia?
Yes.
Switzerland?
Yes.
Tunisia?
Yes.
Thank you. Slovakia?
Yes.
Brazil, do we have a vote from Brazil?
Brazil is not here. Sorry.
Not here. Okay. We can tally the votes, and I can claim that it is resounding yes, so the motion or the supplementary motion has passed. So you're all now required to provide the informations if you want to limit to the 2%.
Can I have the mic, please?
Yes, if you wish, before we close this point.
Yes, I would like to thank everyone for collaborating and making to both the budget and a dues calculation system, or dues system that is no there. I'm talking about as chair of PPI and not as PPCH. Last time the use calculation framework was put on the table. It was in Paris, and basically it took the best of a whole GA to arrive at that. Today we did it in 2 hours. So I would really like to thank you for your patience and your involvement to find a working solution and a good compromise that will ensure that PPI has basic financial means to run. So thank you.
So yes, that's it. I will now close the point 9.3, and we will move forward to the point 9.9. Yes, I will close the point 9.1. We will move forward to point 9.3, which is new vote tool congresses for PPI. Is there anyone to represent? If not, I will, as I provided a counter proposal, and I will ask Bailey to be chair for the moment. We were all, or can I be recognized by the chair now?
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Thank you. As you all hopefully remember, we were given a presentation of deliberation and voting tool congresses at the General Assembly. There was originally a motion from Etienne that would ask the board to install congresses and start it using. I propose that we should first evaluate the congresses for the different uses that our statutes and other rules suppose that we use online tools, and that the board should report within 2 months to members for which of these categories the congressus applies and how good. And if the board finds in its report that for some of these applications the congressus is an applicable tool, we should start using it. So that's my counter proposal, which is now the only proposal standing, as Etienne withdrew its proposal and started supporting mine. That's all presentation I have for you.
Excellent, thank you. Get back the chair then.
Okay, does anyone want to have a discussion on this proposal? I'm sure it's linked.
Can I just have the floor for 15 seconds?
Yes.
Norway would be very, very thankful if you found the time to vote yes on this. It's an incredibly interesting tool, and the more that use it, the more it will evolve. It has the potential to revolutionize how smaller parties, emerging parties work and get more effective. Please vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now put the proposal in the minutes. Yes, we've made it. Now the proposal is in the minutes on line 397. Does anyone want to do any significant changes or add something or counter propose something?
Well, I just want to add that maybe PPI should try to roll out this tool to all PPs that apply for it, as you're now working the infrastructure and use money for this. So This would be great for all PPs. Thanks.
Do you wish to add that to the proposal? Because the proposal now only regards the needs of PPI and not needs members, kinda.
We
Or
can
was it just a comment?
we can add and formulate that the PPI board or a standing committee of it works on a plan to roll it out on a global basis. However, should I remind everyone that the tool is only localized in 2 languages for now, and in order to work with emerging parties, it will need to be translated in other languages. So yes, no problem. But again, if one of the parties wants to roll it out in his region, or has one of the major languages like Spanish or Portuguese or any other language or German and would like to contribute, please contact Cedric. And I think it is a prerequisite to roll it out on a regional level that the localese are already in the proper language, because the language barrier is very often a killer when it comes to rolling out tools like this.
Okay, any more comments regarding this proposal?
Will you please see Marketa's comment in the group chat?
I'll try.
It has been already corrected, so it's okay.
Okay, we had some language corrections. Thank you all for them.
And please let us more than 2 months, because we are not able to do that within 2 months.
You are not able to report or release after report?
No, we're not going to be able to evaluate it thoroughly and report within the next 2 months. I mean, we're running other initiatives. At least a quarter, at least 3 months. I think it would be fair, because the tool is not a simple and mere one size fits all, and it has multiple elements that need to be evaluated. And it would be fair to Cedric and Etienne that it takes the proper in-depth reporting, and not just that we do a lip service and rubber stamp whatever we feel is good.
Yeah, I understand. I try to reward the proposals so you would have concrete things for which you need to check, as there are rules set for us for the e-democracy system and for the General Assembly. So you know that you need to check for members of board as attendees, but not as voters. You need to check for delegates. You need to check how do one vote.
Exactly. And I would suggest
you need to check if you can do split votes and such.
And in that regard, we need to have another online GA to do a full benchmark of that. And I don't think that you want to have an online GA within the next 2 months, right?
Oh, yes, I don't want. That wasn't my intent.
So give us a little bit of time
to be exact. It wasn't my intent that you will need that you would do a full benchmark test in the 3 months. I just wanted to check if the tools that we need are there.
Okay.
And if some tools that we don't need are there, and we need to get rid of them or something like that. So 3 months?
3 months.
Okay, I change my proposal to 3 months if nobody is against that. And are you able to do the installation in 2 months after releasing the report?
Bastian, that would be a question for you. And Cedric as well, because there are the 2 people that will need to work on that.
No answers. Installation can be done in 1 day.
I hear my name.
Okay.
I hear my name. What do you want? Sorry about that.
Because basically, if we are going to be using congresses, we need to look at it from a technical standpoint, and that both you and Cedric need to work together to make it run.
Yes,
So,
of course, no problem about that.
the timeline was whether or not you were able to do that within the 2 months time frame that was foreseen.
2 months time frame. We have November now. It's December and January. January we can do that, of course. Maybe we can set up a virtual machine for that and so on. It's no problem about that.
Okay. I would like to clarify that for the point 2, I thought that the point 2 should mean after we found that it is applicable for these possibilities, we will install that and do some customization such that these possibilities can be fulfilled.
And last but not least, but Cedric, what about you?
Cedric wrote in the chat that installation can be done in 1 day. So
yeah, let's try. I don't care. Let's try. But we have to do a lot of things until the end of the year. Maybe it's a good idea to do it between the years. We say after Christmas, we have 3-4 dead days. There we can implement everything.
And what about you, Cedric? Will you be available to support Bastian? I will. Okay. So that's good.
okay, so we can continue with as such. Does anyone has any more comments or proposals regarding this proposal? I will now read the proposal. General Assembly 1 tasks the board to evaluate congresses. A, as a tool for remote elections and voting on the points of General Assembly meetings as specified in statutes 11.6. B, as a permanent online e-democracy system as specified in statutes 6.4. C, as a tool for an online General Assembly meeting. D, as a tool for board meetings, and report its findings within 3 months to the members. Point 2, so General Assembly, if the board finds congresses applicable in its report, it shall prepare it for use in such cases on PPI servers within 2 months after the report's release. I think we can vote now. So, Pirate Party Austria, how do you feel? Yes, thank you. Pirate Party Brazil, still not here. Pirate Party Catalonia. Pirate Party Czech Republic.
Yes.
Thank you. France.
Yes.
Germany.
Abstain.
Germany abstains. Israel. Israel, yes. Luxembourg. Luxembourg. What?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Netherlands.
Abstains.
Internet Party New Zealand.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Norway.
Yes. And Catalonia, maybe Guillaume wants to vote for
Yes.
them. I don't... Yes.
So Catalonia, yes, thank you. Russia.
Russia, yes.
Switzerland.
Yes.
Tunisia.
Tunisia, yes.
Tunisia, yes. Thank you. Slovakia.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Brazil, are they here?
Nope.
No. Okay, I think we still have a quorum regardless. So if we tally the votes, it's resounding yes with few abstentions. So the motion was passed. Now we can move for 2.9.4. Any other open business? There are three points. There's international coordination meeting and information item from Bailey. There's standing committee for revision of the statutes, and there's standing committee for ECOSOC and international NGO activities. So I would go through these motions in this order, and after that, if anyone else has anything else to comment, please do so. So please, first, please, Bailey.
All right. Hi, guys. So some of you might remember last year I started organizing monthly membership meetings to focus on activism and just giving everybody a chance to meet regularly once a month to talk about what's going on with them and how we can do some actual international coordination together, work on causes and stuff together. People kind of stopped coming, so I'll admit I got discouraged by that, so I stopped organizing them, but I'm gonna get them going again, and I'm not gonna stop. Once a month, I'm thinking the third Saturday of every month. That's just what stood out to me. I'm just gonna go hang out on Mumble for a couple hours and see who shows up, and hopefully lots of people will, and we can work on some activism together. This is, like I said, purely causes and you know, stuff like that. There's no statute talk allowed. Statute talk is completely banned from these meetings. Yeah, so I'm thinking the new year is probably a good time to start, which would make our first meeting the 19th of January. And I think that 8 p.m. Central European time, 2 p.m. Eastern time is probably a good time, as that was when we got the most attendance before. So unless anybody has any any real objections, I'm just going to go with that, and it's going to be the same every month, just consistent, and yeah, more information will come out closer to the date, emails and whatnot, announcement on the website, but I just wanted to let everybody know while we're here that this is happening again. So yes, if this is something that interests you, please come, and yeah, let's do some good stuff together. That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else wants to comment on this?
I'd like to just comment. Thank you, Bailey, definitely for this. I don't know how to call it, activity. I hope to definitely join. However, on 19th January we have our General Assembly where we are actually going to vote for, you know, the European candidate list, European Parliament candidate list. So I won't participate on 19th January. However, I will participate in February. And thank you again.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you. Anyone else wants to comment on this point? Doesn't seem so. So we can move to the second sub-point. It's standing for Committee for Statute Revisions. Whose proposal is that? Who wants to present?
If you are asking if somebody wants to speak on standing committees, I would ask our Keith if he has something to say. If he has not, well, please click on the link and read. It seems he's getting ready to do something.
This proposal was made by Pirate Party of France, so I'd leave it to them to propose if they'd like to.
Okay. Cedric, do you have anything to say or add? Bonsoir.
Okay, if
Sorry, I have nothing to say more than that.
okay, then anyone wants to comment?
I would just do one comment.
Yes.
Let's do more projects and less statutes work. If it ain't broken, don't fix it. I think the biggest broken bit was fixed today. Now let's make things happen. And revising the statutes should be happening when we have time, when there is something that doesn't work. And for the rest, let's focus on our energy onto making projects happen, conferences, activism projects, vote or platforms to work. And let's see if our statutes resist the test of time. And if they are broken, well, then we'll see to make it happen. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, thank you. Anyone else wants to comment on this? Yeah, there's commented from the point of view of France, the statutes are broken. So that's it. I would close this point if nobody objects and move forward to the subcommittee.
Sorry, can I just add something?
Yes.
Yes, I think the main point is to facilitate the decision and the process throughout our reunions and meetings. So all the time we spend arguing on some little stuff could be out of the way, I think, with that proposal. Thank you.
Thank you as well.
And just one thing is, if I make a comment and it's not taken in the minutes, then there is a problem.
I agree.
And I don't see the comment that I've made was even picked up.
Can you repeat the comment? I'm sorry, I'm losing track doing this all myself.
Keith, you were editing something that was not tabled. And I was saying that basically, let's focus on energy on developing projects and running activism campaigns rather than trying to fix something that is not broken or that does need more fixing, because there's plenty of room to do exactly what you're asking for, and there's already things that are provisioned into it for doing what you would like to foresee, to reply to PPFR. I mean, discourse was there to do that. Didn't happen too much. There is even a way for delegates to be involved in permanent deliberation. And this is not being used by delegates. Delegate, as a reminder, a delegate is not just a work to come at a GA, it's a permanent work to be representing a country at PPI, meaning that you would have work, active participation is expected from you guys, not just that we do and deliver. And that would save a lot of time debating issues and things during a GA. That's my point.
Thank you. Does Franz want to still add anything?
Yes, the point I think is just to point out if something is inherently wrong in the motion, not like spend a lot of time on it, but just to remind people that maybe they didn't look at something that was relevant.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wants to comment on the standing volunteer committee for statutes? Doesn't seem so, so we can move to the ECOSOC committee. Who wants to present?
I can present.
Please go ahead.
This is not a motion, it's just an announcement that we've set up a new mailing list for ECOSOC volunteers. It's written into the minutes on line 458. And we need representatives in Geneva. We need support in the UN headquarters in New York, and all around the world. We need assistance to attend meetings, draft documents, etc. So a good way for everyone to be involved with that is through this new mailing list, and we appreciate your support.
Thank you. Any more comments? Doesn't seem so. So there's also a General Assembly committee. Who wants to represent?
I have no idea who put it in there.
Okay, there's just a link that it was formalized on the discourse, so it's there. Does anyone want to comment on it? Doesn't seem so, so that's all, as far as I can tell. So that's everything from me and from the agenda. Does anyone want to add anything before we close the meeting?
Yes, please.
Please do.
Yes, if you don't know, I am, well, the main proponent of using Zoom in PPI and using Zoom at a couple of general assemblies. Now, as you can see, we have had a meeting completely without hiccups when we're only using Zoom. My ambition to use Zoom in Munich and have remote delegates talk to the room itself, the physical location, completely failed for technical reasons and lack of preparation by us and others. So I asked that what happened in Munich does not reflect on Zoom or anyone else than me. And to make it absolutely clear, the second an open source solution comes up that actually works, I would choose that before anything. But in today's market, I haven't been able to find anything that satisfied the needs we were asked by the General Assemblies over 2 years to fix. But thank you all for your patience, and I hope to see you very soon and not just at the next General Assembly.
Okay, thank you. Any more comments before closing the assembly? Yes, Gulen.
As PPI chair, I would like to thank everyone that supported the organization of those 2 GAs. I would like to thank also our chair for this GA, for his time, and also your patience in the adversity, and also during the debate, all your courtesy and good spirit. So I would like to extend that to everyone, and in particular all those that have worked very hard to make this happen. Whether there was success or not is something else. We made it with what we had at hand, And I would like to thank and recognize the huge contribution of Ray for this GA. What you've seen happening now over those 2 weekends is due to a relentless work of Ray, of Bailey, and others, and behind the scenes. They probably spend over 160 hours of time just to make this happen. So I would really like to thank them. I would like to thank also Bastian and his crew, which tried to save the day in Munich, and everyone else that contributed to the organization. And I would like to thank everyone that attended and contributed to this GA. There we go.
Yes, thank you. I would like to point out that it was only one assembly we had, and I hope that nobody is waiting for us in the Munich. And thank you all, and I'm ready to close the assembly unless somebody else has anything. I don't think so, so thank you all, goodbye, we are dismissed.
Thank you, Wojtek. Thank you, Wojtek.
Thank you.
Really good job. Incredible.